Hi, I'm Ty Brown, and together with Joe Tomsick and our families, we're the owners of Salt Lake City Dogs, home of a very unique dog boarding, dog daycare, grooming, and Communicanine dog training. At Communicanine Dog Training, we've been voted by the Best of State organization as the best dog training company in Utah the majority of years that we've been in business. But enough about us. You came here to learn more about you, your dog, and your challenges. And first and foremost, I'm a dog owner just like you, and I have been for decades. But as a dog owner, I've never once taken my own personal dogs to daycares or boarding facilities. Now, I don't mean to say that other daycares and boarding spots are bad or doing anything wrong, but I've been in the dog training industry since the mid-90s. I've seen and been in countless dog facilities, and there are just certain issues that don't make me feel comfortable. And if you're anything like me, I think the next few minutes of this video will make a lot of sense to you. Let me first start by identifying the problems with traditional boarding and daycare spots. As someone who specializes in dogs' mental health, we're in a unique position to understand what a traditional setting can do to some of these dogs. You see, most dogs go off to daycare when they're in a big open room. The interaction with humans is limited to letting them in the morning and taking them out at night. During the day, the dogs run like crazy around the room, having fun and getting their energy out. These are good things, right? The problem is that in many cases, these dogs are running on pure adrenaline during the time that they're at daycare. The entire experience, lacking much structure from humans, can be so overstimulating and overwhelming for the average dog. Many dog owners are thrilled that their dogs come home exhausted and tired, but what they don't realize is that the dog is exhausted because he's been running on pure adrenaline all day and is now crashing. In other words, the dog is exhausted the same way your car would be pooped out if it was running at high RPMs all day long, or in the same way that you would be exhausted and crash after spending an incredibly stressful day at work. Were there enjoyable parts about your work day? Perhaps. But if the stress is overall so great, do you really want to be running at such high octane all day, every day? Unfortunately, many dogs are. They run at this high octane all day at daycare, and it turns into other problems in their daily life. To the untrained eye, it can look like dogs simply playing and having fun, but the truth can be different from how it appears. Issues such as an inability to properly relate with other dogs, dog-related aggression, separation anxiety, stress-related destruction, stress behaviors like whining, pacing, etc., a lack of impulse control with dog obedience, and so much more can result from dogs who are placed into an environment on a daily or semi-daily basis that is lacking in proper structure and high in adrenaline and other stressors. In other words, if your dog's only experience with other dogs is in high adrenaline, high octane environments, it really tweaks how your dog views other dogs and other things in its life. Our solution is something we call structured play. No, we don't want to take away a dog's quality of life at daycare by not allowing them to play. But as dog trainers, we understand that structure is the true key to happiness for dogs. This starts with how our clients enter our daycare. We work with them to show them how to not allow the dog to pull them into the building, as I'm sure you've seen plenty of dogs doing at other daycares. We want the dog to enter the facility from a clear-headed and calm state of mind. Yes, daycare should be fun, and we're thrilled dogs want to come, but we don't want them rushing in with this unbridled madness, which then carries that energy into the rest of the group and the other dogs, therefore teaching them inappropriate ways on how to deal with each other. Once in the building, we've created, for the safety and structure purposes, a simple holding room in between the front and the daycare area. This allows our employees to help the dog enter the play space from a calm state of mind. For dogs, the first 5 minutes of any experience sets the tone for how they'll interact with that experience. We want our clients' dogs to enter the play area in the right state of mind, not in a frenzied mess. Once in the play area, dogs are free to enjoy their time. Because we have been a leader in training for so many years, though, we are in a unique position to help dogs do better and with more structure throughout the day. All of our employees are trained to recognize signs of stress, overly dominant behavior, or roughhousing that is getting out of control, and know how to bring an equilibrium to the group that isn't found in other daycare facilities with training systems and employees that just are not as well trained as our trainers. The trainer staff takes an involved approach in guiding play rather than allowing play to happen and hoping for the best. Various toys and other mental stimulation is introduced to make sure that there is a variety to the day rather than allowing idle dogs to start making bad choices. Further, we've got open spaces, but we've also got nooks and crannies and rooms where dogs can voluntarily remove themselves from the group when they've had enough. The end result are dogs who are tired, but are tired for the right reasons. They're tired because they've had a day filled with interactive and structured play, intermittent physical and mental rest, human and dog interaction more. In other words, our daycare experience is designed to help your dog be a better dog at home and at daycare by learning impulse control and proper decision making, not just during your time at work, but also in your dog's daily life. Now, let me talk a little bit about boarding. I've never been able to bring myself to board my dogs. I've been around a lot of great, upstanding, spanking clean boarding places. It's not that. The problem I've always had is that no matter the style of boarding, the employees like to close up shop at 5 or 6 and go home for the day. The dogs go into the kennel runs and they aren't taken out for another 12 to 14 hours when people come back. For that reason, you'll often see boarding kennels advertise the size of their kennel runs, with bigger presumably being better, right? Well, me, as the dog owner, has always said in my mind, well, my dogs are really well house trained. They aren't going to want to go to the bathroom in a small room or a suite or a kennel run. They're either going to have to hold it or they're going to do something they hate and go to the bathroom in their own room. Sitting there and thinking of my dogs going through that, I just couldn't do it. Further, for those that have dogs who aren't well house trained, this style of boarding from a training standpoint just further makes a house training problem worse as the dog learns it's okay to go potty indoors. I just could never wrap my head around leaving my dog in that kind of position. We've solved that by making our boarding experience about as close to home as you can get. During the day, the dogs spend time in our daycare, which has a home-like atmosphere. It's mostly indoors with access to outside potty areas and frequent potty breaks by the trainer in charge. At night, we don't send our staff home at 5 or 6. Instead, the dogs spend the evening with our staff relaxing from the day, and then at 9 or 10, after their last potty break, they're ushered into a secure crate where they can relax and sleep until the early next morning when the staff lets everyone out very early. For dogs that aren't crate trained, we can either do that crate training for you, or we have bigger rooms available for dogs who simply cannot be in a crate. In other words, your dog follows a structure and a routine that is interactive, mentally stimulating, physically tiring during the day, and then is able to get good rest without needing to soil him or herself during a long staff absence. Now, I've mentioned several times that we are a training company first and foremost. What that means is that we're in a great position to help your dog mentally and physically learn the right ways to be when it comes to behavior and play while you're gone. It also means that we're just about the only place around that is equipped to take on dogs for daycare and boarding that are intact or have had problems with antisocial or aggressive behavior at other daycares. In summary, thanks for watching the video. We hope you see why we are a different experience for both you and your dog when it comes to daycare and boarding.